the power of propaganda and counter-propaganda, motivated me to keep expanding the scale and the reach of the project. So this set of images is really to talk about some of my biggest influences. That's the Robbie Canal image on the far right, the contradiction image. In the middle is Barbara Kruger, who's done a lot of work with appropriated imagery, where she's recontextualizing the image, giving it new meaning with her use of typography, always bold Futura typeface, almost always on a red background, and it's really, really powerful art and design, and it was very inspirational for me. My Obey logo basically uses Futura and a red bar, inspired by Barbara, but her style was so pervasive as the style that would indicate someone was dealing with social or political issues in their work in the early 90s, that it actually, my homage to her was about an entire genre of art, not just about her. And you know, it's interesting how one person can have that kind of influence on, you know, what's happening in art at that moment, and she really did. The image to the far left is a still from the film They Live, and the Obey in the background is clearly inspired by Barbara Kruger's work. It's a John Carpenter film from the late 80s, and it's a very, has anyone seen that film?
Yeah.
All right, so there's not, I'll explain it to everyone else. It's just like my sticker project, it's a silly film, silly imagery, somewhat of a profound underlying concept. In that film, Rowdy Roddy Piper, coincidentally another wrestler, plays the protagonist. He is an down on his luck, out of work guy who stumbles upon a benevolent tent camp where they offer to help put him back to work and feed him. And the leader of it is a Ray Charles kind of guy with sunglasses on, preacher, and but you know, non-denominational, just talking about how people need to wake up and things like that. Then all of a sudden the police come and tear the place apart. Rowdy Roddy Piper goes back through the wreckage, finds the same sunglasses in a box that he realizes the group had been trying to manufacture for mass distribution. And when you have those glasses on, you can see that half the world is aliens that are basically controlling and corralling working class people. So and all the ads, when you look at the ads with the sunglasses on, they say things like sleep, consume, watch television, obey. So this really struck me because I was always a fan of George Orwell and you know, Ray Bradbury, and you know, people that had used themes of sort of systems of control in their work, and how when people follow the path of least resistance, they're much easier to control, and it can have a domino effect, because the less dissent there is, the easier it is to squash the isolated incidents of dissent that there are. That was really profound to me, and the word that to me was most powerful in addressing how people subconsciously follow the path of least resistance, listen to the rules, don't want to rock the boat, sort of justify doing things they don't believe in because maybe that's not what their friends or society or the law says they ought to be doing, was the word obey just brings it out in the open. Obey was about saying you need to deal with the concept of obedience and make a conscious decision about where you stand on an issue, what your beliefs are. So I felt like also when people don't know what they're being told to obey, they might question the agenda of everything that's presented in a similar context. So my feeling was that the most pervasive form of propaganda in the United States is advertising. And if I put my work out in the streets with the word obey next to advertising, something that was clearly about an agenda and propaganda that was overt, but it was a benevolent project, that next to things that were presented in an inviting way, that were designed to manipulate, but as part of your DNA as an American, you must be attracted to certain things, and that's the art of advertising, that maybe the, you know, if my work looked sinister but was benevolent, that people might see that the other side of the coin was things that are sinister but are packaged in a way that looks benevolent. So that's really how I got rolling with the Obey propaganda campaign.